Good evening, everyone. It's my immense pleasure to welcome all the esteemed doctors of Sri Ramakrishna Multi-Speciality Hospital, Coimbatore. Buddhi Clinic is happy to spread its wings out of Chennai and come to Coimbatore. We are happy that we have become part of the excellent Sri Ramakrishna Multi-Speciality Hospital today, and we look forward to having a long and fruitful collaboration. We bring to you this webinar about the Buddhi Clinic's integrative paradigm of treatments to mark this momentous occasion. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. K. Ashokan, MD DM Neuro, Fellow of American College of Chest Physicians, Head of the Department and the Chief Neurologist, Sri Ramakrishna Multi-Speciality Hospital, Coimbatore, who will be chairing the session. Sir, I request you to kindly take the session forward. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, all of you. I, along with my colleagues in the Neurosciences Department, Dr. Ramdas, Dr. Murali, and Dr. Vikram, welcome all of you for this unique webinar today. I thank Dr. Krishnamurthy and the team Buddhi Clinic from Chennai for giving me this opportunity to chair the session. I thank our managing trustee, CEO, Dean, and other managerial staff for their encouragement to start the Buddhi Clinic at our hospital, Sri Ramakrishna Hospital. It's my pleasant duty to introduce Dr. Rama Raghu, Clinical Director of Buddhi Clinic. She is going to talk on integrated treatment paradigm for a case of traumatic brain injury. Dr. Rama Raghu graduated from Stanley Medical College, Chennai, and worked at the Department of Neurology in Voluntary Health Services under Professor Krishnamurthy Srinivas more than a decade. Incidentally, Professor Krishnamurthy Srinivas was my professor in neurology. During her stint there, she did her MSc in epidemiology and a diploma from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, general medical and a lifestyle physician, and has 2 decades of experience in neurorehabilitation. Her focus at Buddhi Clinic is on providing integrative therapies across the lifespan for pain, mental health, disability, and lifestyle disorders to improve and restore a good quality of life for patients with chronic disorders. So now I call upon Dr. Rama Raghu for her case discussion on TBI. Dr. Rama.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashokan, for the kind introduction. So good evening and greetings from Buddhi Clinic to all the esteemed doctors attending the webinar today. It is a milestone moment for all of us at Buddhi Clinic. Having started our morning today, it's been very exciting, and we are looking forward to working closely with all the doctors here and bringing Buddhi Clinic to the patients. So there's a logo here on top which talks about our journey of 10 years and why did we start the Buddhi Clinic when we did. So as we all know, and from our clinical experience as doctors, we understood that neuropsychiatric disorders are very debilitating, and many of the times they're very progressive, causing severe disabilities. And it also came to our minds that we must look at options other than medications and surgery that we can offer to improve quality of life for our patients. And how did we go about this to bring the Buddhi Clinic into being? So we did this by bringing together allopathic medications, the best of modern rehabilitation techniques, and combined them seamlessly with our ancient medical traditions, all under one roof. And we also were able to harmonize a lot of approaches so that they were complementary to each other. And in our journey of 10 years, where we have seen 10,000 patients and delivered more than a lakh of interventions, we slowly evolved and fine-tuned our protocols and procedures to make a best practice model so that we are able to sustain them and replicate and measure them as well. So as I introduced the Buddhi Clinic, these are our 4 centers in Chennai. Can you see the slide, the Buddhi journey slide?
Yes, very much. We can see the slide.
Okay, and this is a slide about our centers in Chennai. The oldest is the Tenapet Center, followed by Velacheri, Annanagar, and Porur, which are all outpatient facilities. So if you look at this picture, it talks about the Buddhi Clinic programs across the lifespan. So if you look at children and adolescents, we are looking at treating cerebral palsy, epilepsy, we are looking at mental retardation, behavioral disorders such as ADHD and autism. And then we also have the adolescents with behavioral issues, with mood issues, problems with career selection. And then for the adults, we are looking at affective disorders and mood disorders, and we're looking at traumatic brain injury, headache and migraine, spinal disorders, and on the cusp between the adults and the elders, we have stroke, we have Parkinson's, and then we have all the cognitive dysfunction patients, the vascular cognitive impairment, cerebrovascular disease, depression, and all the aches and pains which happen in the elderly. So we are covering a gamut of disorders across the lifespan, and the approach for all of it in terms of assessments and treatments is integrative and multidisciplinary. So the symptom focus is on pain, disability, cognitive decline, mental health, and associated lifestyle conditions. So the leads are the neuromodulation and the mind lab treatments, because we work a lot on the brain and mind care. So neuromodulation, we have the RTMS, which is the repetitive transmagnetic stimulation, and then we have the TDCS, which is the transcranial direct stimulation, and then the latest acquisition has been the TAVNS, which is the transauricular vagal nerve stimulation. So we are using these interventions across a spectrum of disorders, starting from the mood disorders, the affective disorders, Parkinson's, post-stroke rehabilitation, traumatic brain injury sequelae, and the TAVNS, we use it for refractive epilepsy, for autonomic dysfunction, and for migraines. And the TDCS is a small little device which actually goes to the bedside of the patient, as does the transauricular vagal nerve stimulation. The RTMS is a larger machine which stays at a place when the patients have to get to it. So we have brought the TDCS to Coimbatore, and our physiotherapist is trained in delivering the treatments as well. And the other two we should be looking at bringing it in a while. And the mind lab treatments are the psychological treatments. So we have the cognitive behavior therapies, we have the cognitive retraining, we have caregiver counseling, and the other treatments, supportive counseling for the patients and the families. And then the speech and swallowing therapies. And then we have the physical and occupational therapies from the mobility lab. So the physiotherapists work on a lot of patients with physical disabilities. As we know, we have patients with Parkinson's, stroke, etc., with a lot of physical problems, and the aches and pains as well. So there is the electrotherapy, and there's exercise therapy, and then there is gait and balance training, autonomic exercises, and of course the manual therapies. And interestingly, from the complementary and alternative medical treatments, we have a large basket of therapies. So you can see the pressure therapies are the acupressure, the acupuncture, and the reflexology. And then we have more naturopathy treatments, which are the mud baths, we have hydrotherapies, and a large number of herbal preparations. And we have the yoga, which has found a huge place, especially in the post-COVID time. It's become a very important treatment to treat people with a lot of issues of the brain, the mind, and the body. And and the Ayurveda, we use a lot of medicated oils, and we use medicated hot foments and herbal pastes to treat a lot of disorders, especially with pain and physical and mental disability. So you can see there are basket of interventions, and there are combinations of treatments that go into every treatment program for maximal impact. So coming to the team, the clinical lead are the allopathic physicians, so the psychiatrists, the neurologists, the neurosurgeons, the general physicians, and who are supported by a team of very well trained and qualified specialists. So from the mind lab, we have the clinical and the counseling psychologists, and the mobility lab, we have the physiotherapists who do the treatments. The brain lab, I described the neuromodulation, RTMS, DDCS, and DAVNS. And we also train our physiotherapists to do the DDCS interventions. And the CAM lab treatments, we have the Ayurveda and the naturopathy physicians, and we have the therapy assistants who deliver a number of therapies. Here in Coimbatore, we have a naturopathy doctor. And the nerve lab, they do all the electrophysiology tests as part of the assessment, which is already, I'm sure, a part of the hospital with Dr. Ashokan. And then the rehab lab, we have the speech and the swallowing, the speech and language pathologist who does the assessments and the treatment. So it's a very multidisciplinary team which is able to assess a patient very holistically, a 360-degree assessment, and bring to the fore all the issues that need to be addressed in a multidisciplinary fashion. So this is our Chennai team, the clinical and the corporate staff and the directors. And the Buddhi program, the main one, of course, is the brain and mind care, which Buddhi as a self-explanatory. And when the patients come to us seeking care for their neurological and psychiatric issues, during our assessments, we also find that they have a lot of associated problems. So they have pain in the joints, a lot of musculoskeletal problems, and then they have digestion issues. So it could be poor appetite, a lot of constipation, and weight problems. And then they could have respiratory issues as well, especially in COVID times. It's become a very important issue that we need to tackle. And then many of them have chronic lifestyle diseases, so hypertension, obesity, lipid disorders, and diabetes, and the others with hormonal problems. So we, as we look at a patient very holistically, we are able to find out in the assessments what are the other issues parallelly other than the brain and mind issues, and address all of them under one roof. So just to take you through a snapshot of the clinical outcomes that we measured for 30 patients of ours in the last 2 months who completed therapy. So out of 108 people who are in therapy, 30 people completed, and we found that 61% showed marked improvement by the clinical global impression scale, which helps us measure the symptom severity and what is the global improvement in the clinical status. So more than, so you can see more than half of them have done really well. And then we have around 32% who have made moderate improvement, and mild is around 7%. But the good thing is that all of them have made improvement and none of them have worsened and or not had any change at all. So that has been the impact of undergoing the complete integrative therapy program. So I'd like to illustrate the integrative treatment paradigm for a case of traumatic brain injury of a young man, a 38-year-old man who came back from the UK sometime in 2018, and he met with a very bad road traffic accident. He was driving the front seat of the car, not driving, he was sitting beside the driver. Apparently, he was belted, but he suffered severe injuries of the head and of the face. So you can see the CT brain has picked up so many issues, including hemorrhages and edema and a shift. with multiple facial fractures, which were repaired, and he also underwent a craniotomy. This was done by the doctor in our team, Dr. Vishwanathan, neurosurgeon. After which he developed a lot of behavioral issues. So around 20 days later, he was admitted under our care with symptoms of irritability and a lot of aggression towards the family, restlessness, problems in sleep. And what was especially distressing was his paranoid delusion that someone was out to kill him, and then he was hallucinating about sleep. So a lot of distress caused to the patient and the family. In addition, he had problems in walking and balance and bladder incontinence with constipation. You can see there's so many domains which are involved uh, in terms of symptoms in this young man. So the hallmark of the Buddhi clinic approach is a 360-degree assessment. So when he was admitted under our care, we started with a general examination and a comprehensive neurological evaluation, and we sought a number of opinions which were relevant for this condition. And from the physiotherapists, they found problems in gait, that he had balance issues and hip coordination. And from the mind lab, the psychologist did the clinical interview and the neuropsychiatric inventory, which I will be explaining as we go on, which was quite detailed. And the speech was incoherent and was mostly irrelevant. And from the complementary and alternative medical lab, that is the Ayurveda doctor, did the pulse and the constitution diagnosis. It is what they do as per their learnings. And the EEG done by the nerve lab was borderline normal. And we also did a lumbar puncture. We found that the protein was elevated. And the rest of the viral studies include, and we also tested for AFP, which was negative. And the lab investigation, the blood work was largely suggestive of a urinary tract infection with Klebsiella, and he had very high counts and an elevated CPK because he was a neuroleptic. And the imaging, the CT brain, which was done after the surgery in the previous hospital, that showed no new bleeds and it was getting better. And the MRI brain we did after he came under our care also showed that the hematomas were resolving and there were no new lesions. So we did all of this just to check out if there were any cerebral reasons in terms of the injuries itself that was causing his behavioral problems. And a detailed evaluation behaviorally, we found that initially there was a lot of problem in establishing any rapport with him, and the attention could not be sustained. And the clinical interview was suggestive of caseness, and the significant symptoms were the forgetfulness, there was fatigue, there was a lot of anxiety and depression and sleep problems. And the neuropsychiatric inventory picked up predominantly the agitation, anxiety, and the sleep issues. So there were the motor issues with balance and gait problems, and then a lot of the behavioral problems which we needed to address. So based on this comprehensive assessment, the imaging, the blood work, all of that, we came to a diagnosis of post-TBI delirium with a neuroleptic malignant syndrome. And looking at the course of progress, so from the time he came to us in hospital, we treated him for the NMS, for the behavioral and psychological symptoms, motor issues, and the urinary tract infection. And we slowly started tapering off the neuroleptics, rationalized the medicine, and we put in Ati-1 to improve his NMS. And we started working on building rapport with him and his family. And we slowly started initiating the treatments for him. So we saw to it that we smartly scheduled the treatments, that we did all the active treatments such as physiotherapy where we had to mobilize him, and then the psychological intervention where we had to speak to him. We did it when he was awake because that was very unpredictable when he'd sleep and when he'd be up. So we had to work around that, and we did all the passive therapies such as the Ayurveda and naturopathy when he was sleeping. And then we found that there was a settling of symptoms including the sleep, appetite, behavior, mobility. And after 21 days of hospitalization, he was discharged, and we asked him to come in for the outpatient rehabilitation to our center. There was a lot of unwillingness initially, but the family had to coax him to coming. So we started an intensive rehabilitation program, 6 days a week for 3 months. And the family was extremely supportive, and we found that there was a lot of global improvement, the physical symptoms and the behavioral symptoms. And the residual symptoms were reading difficulty and some hand tremors. And by January 2020, so between August and January 2020, there was tremendous progress, and he began attending office at least half a day. He was helping at home. His moods and his motor functions had improved quite a lot. And currently, that is the beginning of the lockdown, he was not able to come. He's not been in therapy for long, though he's been in doing his consultations with Dr. Krishnamurthy. He's got into full-time work and he wants to return to the UK to do more. So as I said, the umbrella in the Buddhi Clinic is the allopathic medication. It plays an extremely important role in treatment of all our patients. And all the other treatments are external treatments and supportive. So for behavior and sleep, there are a number of medications because that is very important to stabilize him. There was Zolfresh, there was Artigon, and then the Topirol was withdrawn by the neurosurgeon because there was a history of renal stones and hematuria. We again did put in the haloperidol in a smaller dose and replaced it with Inspirol a little later. And there was an Encoret as well to stabilize his mood. To improve the cognition, we gave paracetam and we gave CoQ and we added Aricept in February 2020. And for his rigidity and tremors, we gave Pacitane and added on Avantril later, and he was also a number of supplements. So if you look at the number of hours of therapy that this gentleman underwent, it was a total of 140 hours of integrated therapy program, 40 hours of which we did in hospital in the 3 weeks that he was there, following all the evaluations and then the challenges of building the rapport with him and then getting him to cooperate with our treatment. So we did 40 hours. And as outpatient, we've done a good 100 hours in both the intensive phase and the step-down cases. So it spanned around 6 months. So if you look at the neuromodulation, we did the TDCS, the transcranial direct current stimulation. We did 20 sessions. And the focus was on the left dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. And then from the speech therapist did 20 hours and worked on the fluency, on the content of the speech. And the psychologist in the mind lab did cognitive behavior therapies when he was dealing with his delusions and moods and anxiety about his illness. And the cognitive retraining was done to help with his memory and attention. And a lot of hand-holding of the family was required because they found it very distressing because they didn't know how it would go, and because of the extent of his illness. And the physiotherapist did 40 hours, so exercises, electrotherapy, a lot of work on the posture, on the balance, on coordination, and manual therapy for the painful limbs. And the Ayurveda naturopathy intervention, the Kamla, we did 40 hours. So we did focal abhyangam, which is a massage with warm medicated oil of the head. And Shirodhara is another Ayurveda treatment where warm oil is dripped on the forehead of the patient. And these two treatments are very, very helpful in calming somebody who is very agitated and who is aggressive. And it helps improve sleep, the sleep cycle as well. The acupuncture and reflexology are pressure treatments. And these were again focusing on his behavioral issues, on his cognition, and on his digestion as well. And the mud pack is a paste which is made of wet mud and applied on the abdomen. It helps improve appetite and it helps improve gut health and bowel movements. And it helped him a lot in reducing his constipation. So the emphasis was on maximizing functions and abilities and minimizing the secondary complications. And of course, we had the medication and supplements all along from the beginning. So these are some pictures of the CAM therapy. The first one is the Shiro Abhyangam that I described. The Shirodhara, where warm oil gradually drips on the forehead. So this follows the head massage, the Shirodhara, and usually lasts between 45 minutes to 1 hour. And the acupressure, it is based on the concept that the various organs in the body are represented on the palms and the soles. And applying pressure on these points helps balance the energies in these organs and helps them function better. And this is the mud pack that I was talking about. It's placed on the abdomen for around 20 minutes and then it's. So if you look at the improvements in this gentleman as the therapies were going on, so the end of the 140 hours of treatments that we did, especially after the outpatient treatments, physically and behaviorally, there were improvements in coordination and balance. He was now on his own. He did not need any supervision. And the bowel and the bladder were in place now. There was no incontinence. Appetite was great. And the sleep cycle had improved to a great deal. And he was able to spend his daytime very purposefully. So that's when he was able to start going back to his work as well, at least for half a day. Speech content and fluency improved a lot. His comprehension was also very good. And the ACE is the Addenbrook's cognitive examination. And when we looked at it just at discharge, because before discharge he was not in a state to be assessed for an ACE. So at discharge, when he did the ACE, we found it was 55. So you can see that the score is really poor, and he had scored very badly across all the domains. But post therapy from 55 jumped to 88, which has been significant, which is a significant improvement. And you can see across domains there's been a lot of improvement. So all attention, memory, the verbal fluency, the language, the visual spatial skills. I think there are some full scores as well. So we did very well across domains: physical, cognitive, behavioral, and speech. So the learnings from this case were firstly the importance of an integrative assessment approach where the whole team spends enough time with the patient. As Dr. Krishnamurthy Srinivas used to always tell us, listen to the patient, he's trying to give you the diagnosis. So listening to the patient and getting a good history and evaluating the person thoroughly, I think that's one of the hallmarks, and it's very, very helpful in putting the appropriate and impactful treatment program together. And the approach which is multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. So the teamwork where we work together and it's a multi-pronged approach is very important for somebody who's getting rehabilitated. And addressing all the other little problems also the patient has. So other than the neuropsychiatric problems, are there other things which can also be addressed? So when we assess the person holistically, we are able to pick up these and also treat them for all of this under one roof. And combining seamlessly cutting edge technology with the richness of the ancient traditional treatments, and of course allopathic medication playing a very, very important role all along in all of these patients. Periodic reassessments to see how well a patient has progressed. So it's not just qualitative assessments, but also quantifying what is the progress, like we did in the ACE score, etc. So we're able to tell the patient you made so much of progress. And I think the family really gets delighted when we're able to show this kind of progress and they're able to synchronize it with what they see as well. And in the years that we work, like I said, we put together all these process-driven therapy protocols. We're always working on them to make them better and to see that we pick up all the contraindications. We're careful in what we are doing. There's a good understanding of that. And then all the progress notes, all the records are maintained in the electronic health record. And all the interventions are present under one roof. The patient need not run from one place to another, can have everything in a nicely scheduled manner. And one important thing we've learned is hand-holding the caregiver. The families of such patients, they are in tremendous distress. So when we take care of the patient, at the same time, we must spend enough time to take care of the family and the attendants as well, so that they're in a better place and they have a better understanding of what is required in the care of the patient and how long things will take to get better. And whenever it's possible, with somebody who's young, such as this patient that I spoke about, getting the person again into mainstream of work and into areas of interest. And for an elderly, I think they really value doing the ADLs independently. I think they like to do the activities of daily living independently, and that's something where we can definitely help with. And the program takeaways from our therapy programs, the patient is able to learn the exercises, whether it's physiotherapy exercises or it is the relaxation exercises, yoga, breathing exercises, asanas, whatever it is. There are various takeaways that a person can learn and practice at home. And in patients who are not able to do it on their own, we also have the attender there so that they can learn and they can help the patient. So these are the takeaways which are very important so that the patient maintains the improvement that we have been able to make during the program, and even after it's over, a person continues to do whatever or to continue all of this at home. So this is the treating team of that particular patient. We discussed Dr. Krishnamurthy, Dr. Vishwanathan, Mrs. Anandi Ranganathan, the psychologist, Dr. Agastya, the Ayurveda doctor, Vivek Mishra, the neuroscientist who did the TDCS, E.P. Venkatraman, physical therapist, Dilip Kumar, therapy assistant to deliver the treatments, and Mrs. Anjusha, who is a speech and language pathologist. So we have a little audio clip from this patient, and we'd like to share his version of the Buddhi Clinic journey.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to give me my experience, give you all my experience with the whole progress, I would say. So yes, I think all of you has really portrayed the scenario really well, and I have to say this is the first time I'm hearing about myself. And it's really interesting to know what exactly has happened to me from the actual expert who has actually dealt with me and sorted the whole thing for me in this new era for me. So what I would say, so there are majority of the things from the moment that the incident happened until like early this year, 2020, so around 6 months, my memory was not that great at all. For the first 4 months, I do not have any memory, I would say. And then probably in the last couple of months, in November, December, I had got reasonable amount of memory that could help, getting my state to a better one. My experience was amazing. So I would say, not that I would start from like where I started November, December, which is what I remember, to be honest. So I was able to see the transformation. So I was able to understand, I was able to see who is the person coming to my home, who's sitting next to me. I was able to identify them. Well, to be honest, I don't know my mom, I don't know my dad, I don't know my wife. I couldn't recognize them in the initial stages. So they said that to me so many times that I have never recognized them. And I've called them by different names, and I've, probably they have been like, not even my relatives. My cousins came to my home to see me, and my friends came to my home to see me, and I'm unable to recognize them, but I was able to talk with them all the past incidents that I had with them. That's a bit strange. So I was able to remember something well before the incident, but I was not able to remember that for that moment. However, after November, December, this slowly got interesting and was improving. And my wife and my parents, they were helping me to get better. And yes, they put me actually, in November, December, they actually took me to my office as well. I came to have a little bit of history on what I was doing. So I came from UK, I was doing some work here. I came here to do a startup for 2-3 months, and I went for a trip with my friends, and then I came back and this incident happened. So after this recovery period from July, August, and all the Buddhi Clinic experts were working on me, I was able to recover reasonably well, and I was able to go back to my office, and I was able to recognize all my colleagues. My colleagues were very interested in my presence there, and they were really happy. They wanted me to get on board with them. I was a little bit surprised, not really by then, by now actually. They asked me to actually carry on with the thing that I was doing a month before the incident. I was able to go back and talk with my clients. I was able to get back on the job straight away in November, December. That was really surprising for them because they didn't expect that. It's really interesting. Since then, I've been improving a lot. So I like the TDCS RMS Vivek said told, and all the other therapists, all the other therapists, very interesting. All the Ayurvedic, Ayurvedic therapists, is acupuncture, acupressure, meridian massage. So it was really great for me. So I think all the things actually in a package has helped me, and I have come to a great extent. I have come a lot far.
Thank you for sharing your story, and incredibly brave of you, and we are also happy that you've done so well. A question to you is, you've actually, now in the last 6 months, you've developed a whole new product/platform. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. So what actually happened is I came for a purpose to India, and I was trying to start the business. So, and then immediately happened. Instead, immediately happened. So everything got postponed. But December, I was able to start the job again. This 2019 December, and from there to 6 months, I was able to complete the first vision. Because being in the products for a long time, I was able to build the product with artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is my core. Which probably needs a lot of brain work. So my brain is now fully cognizant. It's really, the work I do is compute intensive. I know that I lack a little bit of memory, which I'm sure that I will work with Vivek sir to get that ready, ready to a better extent. But yes, I was able to actually create what I came for here. So I was able to create the business, and we are into the market, and I'm dealing with the real market at this situation. So at this moment, and it's going really well, sir. Thanks.
So kudos to you, and compliments to your family for your wife and your parents for sticking with you and working so hard with you to get you to this point. And I think all of us are really happy for you, Mr. Raj. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. It's really nice of you to do that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you for making my parents, my wife's experience really better, because my wife is, I just got married. I'm with her for only 2 years now. So she's been really brave with me, and she was consistently helping me and make sure that, I'm here right now. So with you all guys speaking in. Thank you so much. And I'm sure that, my parents used to say, they used to tell, they believe in God a lot. God has helped. And I'm sure that God has in some version has come, and Buddhi Clinic's experts making sure that I'm right here today.
So moving on to the innovations that came about in the time of the pandemic. So we realized that in order to keep our patients safe and also to respect their wishes of staying at home, we also realized that many of them were not into any exercises, and they were extremely anxious. There were problems with sleep. All their pain symptoms were back. The digestive symptoms are back. They were having a lot of issues because of the lack of exercise and of any therapy which we used to give regularly. So we thought that we must again establish the connect and help them in whatever little ways we could. So these were people, patients, when they had mild to moderate symptoms. We put together the kit, which is a do-it-yourself kit. You can see there's a bag there with a lot of with Ayurveda oils and with the poultices, which are foments which can be heated and applied, and then aromatic oils, and then there are acupressure sticks. So there are the little things and the bits and bobs which are required and which can be helpful for the patient to do therapy for himself at home or with the help of an attendant or a family member. So this is a pouch which we courier to the house, and we have sent it right across India to even remote villages in Maharashtra and West Bengal, where we have patients who have benefited from the do-it-yourself treatments. And these are done from the comfort and safety of their homes. We have a detailed description and directions enclosed in the kit. And we also have the experts, the Ayurveda and Naturopathy doctors, who talk to the patient, who connect with them online and give the instructions as to how they can use the kit and do the treatments. And they also monitor the progress online and take calls regarding any problems that they have and any help that they need. And at the same time, we also moved to the online platform, where we began doing our assessments, the physiotherapy assessments, mind lab assessments, Ayurveda, all of these assessments. We were able to do many of them online. And we were also, along with the kit treatments, we were also able to provide online therapies. The physiotherapy exercises, we were able to do online counseling, the relaxation exercises, the behavioral therapies, all of that along with the kit. So we found that we were able to establish the connect, even though the first and second waves were raging and there were a lot of casualties, but we thought that this is the way that we should keep our patients as good as in a health as possible. As we continued all these therapies online, and now of course they are again back with us after having been vaccinated, and they feel safe. Last but not the least, I'm delighted to introduce our Buddhi Clinic SRH team. So we have Mr. Dayanand, who is a senior physiotherapist. and who will also be doing the TDCS as well. We have Dr. Janani, who is a naturopathy and yoga physician. We have Sandeep Kumar, who will be doing the front office admin support. And we have our therapy assistants, Mr. Shivachandran and Ms. Sanjana, who will be delivering all the therapies. So this is our team. And we are really looking forward and excited about closely working with all the doctors here and delivering Buddhi programs to your patients. Thank you so much.
Dr. Rama, I think
Yeah.
Dr. Ashokan probably is having some technical issues
Okay.
because I don't see him on the. Maybe you could ask and take questions directly.
Yeah. So I'd be happy to take any questions regarding the Buddhi Clinic concepts, therapies, assessments, etc.
Yeah. Very long time this.
Are there any questions from anybody? We're happy to take it. I'd request the doctors to please feel free to walk into the Buddhi Clinic, and we'll be happy to show you about and tell you about how we work. So we'll have a team here who could help with that.
I think Dr. Ashokan is back, Dr. Rama.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Ashokan?
Yes, can you hear me? Sorry, I'm very
yes,
sorry.
sir.
My system goes off on and off.
No problem, sir. I just finished and then I said I would take some questions. So your comments, please. Sir.
Yeah, that's what I'll close it first. So thank you, Dr. Rama, for your clear disposition on the various modalities of therapy given at the Buddhi Clinic and the impressive case discussion on TBI. Thing is, of course, we understand that Ayurvedic, naturopathy, and physiotherapy all given under one roof. Definitely, it's going to be useful for the patients. That's what in head injuries, all these behavioral, emotional, social, and other psychological, psychiatric problems are dealt with in a very good manner by your Buddhi Clinic. And probably that's the reason why you are getting all this frontal lobe syndrome, frontal lobe or frontal temporal lobe involvement, or white matter connecting these lobes getting disrupted due to head injury, maybe the reason. So it's a very good rehabilitative program. That's what I asked my doubts in the morning itself, Dr. Krishnamurthy. how useful is your vagal stimulation for controlling repeated seizures or drug-resistant epilepsy? And that I got the answer. Now, just I'd like to know this head injury, behavioral and emotional problem management, how long it will go? In how many sittings you expect the patient to get better? Of course, that again depends whether it's a mild head injury, moderate head injury, or recovery from severe type of head injury. Mild, of course, is going to get better soon, and if it is moderate to severe, little late. But how? What's the time frame for any better outcome you can think of?
So, as I discussed, I will also ask Dr. ESK to comment on this because he's been seeing a lot more patients. But like I discussed in the morning, I think the quicker they get to us, then the better the prognosis a lot of times is. So, if there's a lot of gap between the injury and no rehabilitation happening, then it gets very difficult and it's longer and harder to make the improvements. But we do have patients who come in at that point because they have exhausted all the other options. So they come to us and we are able to make the improvements as long as the engagement is very good. So there's belief, there's engagement, and we are able to deliver the programs as per requirement. I think definitely the improvements are there. So the quicker they come to us, then we are able to make more impacts. I will ask Dr. Krishnamurthy, I think, to comment on the duration of treatment.
Sir, we often take the problems as motor, cognitive, behavioral, and emotional, social. And what we find is that certain problems, differentially in different groups of patients, certain problems improve faster than others. So sometimes a person gets better motor recovery, they are able to ambulate themselves better, but they continue to be cognitively impaired or behaviorally disturbed. In others, the behavior seems to improve first and the motor takes longer. But what our experience is, our first 6-week intensive phase of therapy, at least 2 of the domains will show improvement. And that gives the patient confidence to continue to work towards the other domains. And sometimes things like speech and language, as you know, may take a very long time to change. But we give them a lot of confidence through our work. And many of our patients become a lot more ambulant and a lot more independent. We had this boy from Pondicherry who came to us with both very severe cognitive impairment and he was completely on a wheelchair with very bad behavior. He is now back. He does most motor activities independently. For some, he needs a bit of support. But he's improved cognitively and behaviorally to a point where he's able to run a small shop with his father. So this was a fellow who was given up for good after a road traffic accident. They thought that he was never going to recover. From there, this is a much better phase for him to be. So, but to answer your question, therefore, 6 weeks, sometimes 3 months, and there are people we work with for even 6 months. Depends very much on the conditions, as you yourself said, severity.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Krishnamurthy. So I invite comments and any queries from the participants. Any comments? If no comments or questions, I think Rama, you had done your job very well, and it was very well received and appreciated. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for chairing the session so well. Thank you.
Anyhow, I apologize because my system went off in between twice, thrice.
No problem.
Okay, otherwise the whole thing, it was a good show. Thank you all. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.
Sir.
Bye. Disconnect.